SpongeBob Season 14 has for sure been an experience so far. Today we got an episode that shows how the show really has no new ideas and would rather just rip off old episodes. But also this episode has some problems with its dialogue. And by that I mean it kind of forgot to have dialogue.
Hey! Is this seat taken?
It is now, sailor.
So these two, Mr. Krabs and Mrs. Puff, are dating now, unless you didn't know. It's been a thing for a while, I'm just addressing it if you haven't seen the couple episodes it's brought up in, because it's really not that relevant to the show. See, this is what I'm talking about. Like going huh and oh does not count as dialogue. This has been a problem in episodes last season as well, where we have entire scenes that are just like grunts and noises.
A 5-cent tip?
Finally someone talks. Having episodes where no one talks is not new to the show, but when we have seen that, like the characters have been quiet. Reef Blower works because of the music and how we can see what the characters are thinking visually, so they don't have to make like random noises. Please stop. Here we get yet another sequence of grunts and noises from the two characters, perfectly capable of talking. And if they were talking, maybe it would have been, you know, like funny or something, but instead we get this. No, seriously, I think the point I made in a recent video about how the show is being marketed towards young kids more than ever makes a lot of sense here.
What do you say to a romantic dip in the goo, my sweet?
Well, I suppose I could wash off some of this cheese.
Unfortunately for the couple, a giant wave appears, and while Mrs. Puff is fine and lost all that extra weight as well, Mr. Krabs is being like drawn away.
Huh? We're up in a riptide! Shit!
Larry saves Mr. Krabs and gets him back on land, or I guess back into the water, but like now on sand. And Mr. Krabs is not looking too good, so Larry does CPR.
Thank you, Larry. Thank you.
So what we got here is, to my knowledge, the first SpongeBob cock episode. Very fitting subject to dive into after a minute of no dialogue.
Hi, Larry. Thanks again.
Huh? Larry's always ready to step in.
We cut to the Krusty Krab, where Mr. Krabs is complaining to SpongeBob about getting his girl taken and calling Larry a shiny-shelled boy toy. What's going on?
No, she loved Larry's muscles.
Mr. Ketamine starts yapping about being fat or something, and this is just Shell of a Man all over again. Not the last episode this episode is gonna be taking some inspiration from, I can tell you that.
There's only one option, boyo. I gotta get in shape before my next date. And you're gonna help. That crustaceous hook.
Larry's gym. I'm not talking about the gym, I'm talking about the season 9 episode where Mr. Krabs works out at Larry's gym. Guess they thought that had a lot more story potential.
was a mistake. Abandon ship!
You can do this, Mr. Krabs!
Mr. Krabs not wanting to reveal who he is to Larry doesn't make much sense, since unless he thinks Larry and Puff are like already dating and Larry is actively trying to steal his girlfriend, there's really no reason. But suspending this belief is gonna make like it somewhat easier to get through the next minute, because it's pretty bad.
I can show you how to...
Okay, got me hurried up.
Mr. Krabs?
Never heard of him.
Must be shy about his first day.
Gang, this is not his first day. Mr. Krabs decides to stop being stupid and take help from the guy who owns the gym and who he is trying to look like.
Look, Larry! I'm doing it!
Look guys, it's like in the first episode. It's just like old SpongeBob. These episodes fit right in with pre-movie SpongeBob. Mr. Krabs starts stealing all the weights, and Larry tells him to stop stealing all the weights.
Money.
Whoa, nice trick, little dude.
That's nothing. You should see how I get him to take his pills.
I don't even get it, but I don't know if I want to get it, so it's cool. Now we get a montage of Mr. Krabs training really well, because of like money. Just lots of noises and not much talking, but it at least makes sense here. I wouldn't bring it up if they didn't do that like brain damaging scene in the beginning. I think it's fine to have like a scene like this, but it's just... it's starting to be like a big part of this episode where there's really no one talking. He does a Rocky parody and we cut to 1 week later with him now looking very big.
Time to see what 168 straight hours of exercise does to the body.
So turns out Larry's workout was all fake, or not really, it's just... you just don't get any progress by like training for a week. That's realistic, I guess. Larry goes into the sauna and leaves his shell, which Mr. Krabs steal, as they have now found a new episode to rip off.
Hey there, ma'am. Is this beach taken?
I like MuscleBob Buff Pants, but I mean, why would I not just go watch that episode? Like, what reason is there for me to watch an episode that rips off an episode that's already good? This is so similar that it's actually kinda crazy. I guess if you only rip it off in the last minute, it don't count or something? I mean, MuscleBob Buff Pants had actual dialogue in its first minute, so that makes this episode like stand out.
I fear no man!
Krabs!
Larry!
I'm gonna crack you right out of my shell, bro!
We find out Larry has gotten as small as Krabs without his shell, and also I just realized the episode's name is Buff for Puff. Buff. They're not even hiding it.
Oh, Mr. Krabs, looking good! Was that Larry?
He must have stopped working out for a few minutes.
Larry slips on fondue and is dragged out into the sea, just like Krabs was in the beginning of the episode. Judging by this picture though, he should be good. There's legit sand right there on the other side, like you're like 10 feet away from land. Larry is saved and everyone cheers for Mr. Krabs, but they now remember that this was a cock plot, so then this happens.
What's that?
I like My boy's a little soft around the edges. That's why Larry and I have a beach date tomorrow.
Nah, she really did him like that. Mr. Krabs takes off his shell to prove the muscles aren't real, and shell of a man, so he looks gross. And the episode ends with him chasing after, like, the new couple, I guess. I don't know, man. Season 14 is just like miss on miss. It's bad when Reef Blower has better dialogue humor than, like, the new episodes.